Hi guys, welcome to the Fight Tonight channel. Absolute lightweight champion George Kambosos announced something grandiose on his Instagram. Big news is on the way. Keep moving forward, no matter what. Egis Klimas manager Vasyl Lomachenko spoke about the situation with the organization of the fight with the absolute lightweight champion George Kambosos. We agreed to a rematch option. Why not? The chances are great. They are of course interested. Today in Australia, whose name can be higher in this weight category than Vasyl Lomachenko? I don't think Australia knows very much who Devin Haney is. And everyone in Australia knows Vasyl Lomachenko. So far, only Kambosos is in the plans. Something else is the planet. If we suddenly do not grow together with the Kambosos, there is nothing to say yet, because this is empty talk. Klimas also stated that the appointment of a Ukrainian as a mandatory applicant does not give advantages. The former world champion in three weight categories Venezuelan Jorge Linares admitted in an interview with Match TV that he would like to have a rematch with Ukrainian Vasyl Lomachenko in Russia. In 2018, I lost the head of shadow to Ukrainian Vasyl Lomachenko, but sent my opponent to a knockdown. I'm lucky that I did it. As a result, I lost that fight. But I have earned respect in the boxing world, and maybe someday we will meet Lomachenko in the ring. And if it ever happens, I would like such a duel to take place in Russia. In Russia, it will be almost impossible to organize a fight with Lomachenko. I understand perfectly well, I know, but you need to think positively. Now I am signed with a Russian company, and I want to do even the impossible for it. In my opinion, who is the strongest lightweight today? This division is very competitive, but I will call Gervonta the best lightweight. For me, this is a very dangerous boxer in this weight class. My forecast about a possible fight between Loma and George Kambosos? If Lomachenko is the same as before, will show the same boxing, then he will achieve a victory. The two-time Olympic champion Lomachenko has 16 victories in the professional ring and 2 defeats. The Ukrainian has won championship belts in 3 weight categories. The 36-year-old Linares has 47 wins and 7 losses. Last weekend in Yekaterinburg, the Venezuelan lost by technical knockout in the 12th round to Russian Zaur Abdullayev in a duel for the title of a mandatory challenger, according to the WBC lightweight version. Friends, before starting to watch this video, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. If you really enjoy the content, then please subscribe to my channel and keep watching the videos. If you are subscribed, then you receive notifications about the release of new videos. You do not even have to look for anything personally. I really want to get 200 subscribers on my channel. I'm trying very hard, absolutely every day, and I need your support. Your likes, comments, or reposts to social networks. Thanks to everyone who subscribes to my channel. You are my support. Thank you so much. As you heard, the promoter of the WBC lightweight title holder Devin Haney said that the streaming service DAZN has recently been actively trying to convince the absolute champion of the 135-pound division, George Kambosos, to fight with his word, and not with Vasyl Lomachenko. We had a good week of negotiations. DAZN stands between us. It is very important for them to arrange this fight, because if Loma fights with Kambosos, he will be a big favorite in this fight, and the belts can return to ESPN. Therefore, DAZN is very actively trying to arrange a Devin Haney-George Kambosos fight. They want this fight very much and want to organize it. We will come back with numbers and various details. I believe that DAZN acts as a good intermediary between me and Lou DiBella, which is why Lou doesn't lose his temper, and I'm not stubborn. This is a good model when everyone can be rational and see if it's possible to negotiate. Offers from DAZN are going back and forth, and I think we have a good chance. It seems to me that Kambosos is playing a game. George wants to be the undisputed absolute champion, and he can only do that in a fight with Devin Haney, Hearn said. George Kambosos eyes Vasyl Lomachenko before Gervonta Davis order. George Kambosos Jr. has begun his path to an eventual unified battle with Gervonta Davis by working out a deal with Vasyl Lomachenko. The Greek-Australian lightweight ruler wants a homecoming event down under after ripping the belts away from Teofimo Lopez last year. Ferocious George had hoped to land an undisputed collision with Devin Haney. However, a low ball offer from Haney's promoter Eddie Hearn, not the first of his career, scrapped any attempts. Since then, the WBO has ordered a fight with Vasyl Lomachenko that has to take place next. As Lomachenko was on a two-man shortlist presented to media by Kambosos and his team, this is the most logical step. However, one man a bit late to the party was Oscar de la Hoya. The Golden Boy boss must have missed the last few weeks of discussions and the recent announcement that Garcia would face Emmanuel Tagoya in April. Despite Kambosos aiming to fight in May or June, De La Hoya threw Garcia's name into the frame despite months of inactivity and a fight already set. De La Hoya said, "The best option for George Kambosos to make the most money is Garcia." Now, not to mention the obvious, but Kambosos versus Garcia in the late May or June would be unworkable if Garcia fights Tagoya in April. Golden Boy would have to scrap that fight entirely. They would also have to convince Garcia that traveling to Australia when you haven't fought in a year and a half would be a good idea. Anyone with any knowledge of the situation would know that Garcia needs to shake off his ring rust before going anywhere near the dangerous Kambosos. Kambosos pointed this out in his responses to the former 11-time world champion. "Oscar, you're a legend, big fan, mate, but I'm busy in 2022 defending in beautiful Australia against the cream of the crop. Respectfully, if Rank can string a few big-name wins and earn it, no problem at all. Come to Australia, my guest, and watch my Mega Stadium fight next up." That Mega Stadium fight will be against Lomachenko, as Haney reportedly priced himself out of the fight. Whoever wins from Kambosos versus Lomachenko will have a voluntary option before getting ordered to battle Gervonta Davis. The WBA continues to reduce its world titles, and having ordered Davis to fight ex-interim title holder Rolando Romero. Their next move is to stipulate the secondary champion to fight the super belt holder. This scenario means Kambosos or Lomachenko will have it in writing that Davis must be their next mandatory challenger by the end of this year. Fans can now look forward to two massive unified titles battle between lightweight Super 6 stars. But the biggest loser here is Devin Haney, who had the first refusal and blew it. The Kambosos fight could have been argued upon and signed weeks ago. Now the honor goes to Lomachenko and Davis, meaning Kambosos would have to choose Haney as his voluntary defense in the fall for the contents to get reviewed. Oscar de la Hoya was in favor of Garcia, leaving his trainer Garcia to move on to Jaguzen due to the lack of time the famous coach had for him. De La Hoya said he initially liked the idea of Garcia and Virgil Ortiz Jr. training with Reynoso, but it wasn't worth it because he didn't have time. As De La Hoya points out, Reynoso trains the superstar Canelo Alvarez, and that takes up a lot of time. Oscar says that Canelo and Reynoso are best friends. With the amount of time Reynoso spends with Canelo, De La Hoya felt it wasn't fair to Virgil and the other fighters he trains. Reynoso also has many other top fighters that he trains at his gym, which gets in the way of him putting in the time needed, says De La Hoya. Ryan recently split with Reynoso and is now trained by Jaguzen, who De La Hoya is the ideal coach for him. The unbeaten lightweight contender Ryan is getting ready for his headliner fight on DAZN against Emmanuel Tagoya on April 9th at the Alamodome in San Antonio. When the Virgils were thinking of going to add Reynoso, I liked the idea because he has knowledge and training alongside a great champion like Canelo. It would have been great, said Oscar de la Hoya. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel.